You ever watch $4 million float down a ditch while drinking coffee at your kitchen table? I have. Didn't even lift a finger. Just sat there while the sky opened up and Mother Nature handled things better than any lawsuit ever could. And the best part? The woman responsible tried to blame me for it. Said my backyard spillway caused the flood like I'm out here with a garden hose causing chaos. I've lived on Maple Street for over 15 years now, right next to the natural drainage creek what we call the spillway. It's not much to look at most days, just a quiet little trench with weeds and the occasional squirrel, but when a real Midwest storm hits, that thing turns into a raging river faster than you can close your windows. It saved our street more times than I can count. That spillway is the reason half the homes around here don't end up with water in their basements every May. I've respected that water path since the day I moved in. Regraded my yard around it, installed gravel channels, even kept a rake by the back door just in case. I've seen what happens when people try to ignore it, and let me tell you, it never ends well. Then Barbara Thompson moved in. Barbara wasn't exactly the friendly neighbor type. She was a get-things-done woman with a clipboard and a vision. Within 6 months, she'd gotten herself elected HOA president, and suddenly we were all hearing about revitalization and enhancing property values. Her big plan: a $4 million luxury clubhouse, fitness center, wine bar, yoga deck, you name it, right on the one open plot of land at the bottom of our street. The same land, I might add, that floods like clockwork every storm season. Now, I didn't want to start trouble. So when Barbara handed me the glossy brochure and said, "Jack, we're building something amazing for the community," I just pointed out, politely, that the land she chose floods regularly. Deep. It's part of the drainage system, I said. That ground soaks 6 months of the year. She smiled like I'd just said the sky was purple. "We're upgrading everything," she told me. "Engineers, permits, modern drainage solutions. That outdated system back there," she waved toward the spillway, "just isn't efficient anymore." And that's when I knew she didn't get it. That spillway doesn't care about modern solutions. It doesn't care about consultants or fancy concrete work. It does what it's done for decades: move water downhill fast before it wrecks somebody's living room. I tried one more time, brought up past storms, even showed her a photo of the area halfway underwater during the 2008 flood. She tapped her iPad, nodded like I was cute, and said, "Thanks for your concern, Mr. Harris." Mr. Harris. That's when I stopped talking. Instead, I started documenting. Took photos every week, kept weather logs, even printed out the original zoning map showing that land marked in bold red as a protected flood easement. No permanent structures, it said, clear as day. Didn't matter. Construction went up anyway. Fast forward to spring. Grand opening day. Barbara's got the whole neighborhood out there with balloons and champagne and one of those ribbon-cutting ceremonies like she's opening a casino. A drone was flying overhead. Live stream running on the HOA website. And wouldn't you know it, forecasted rain. Not just sprinkles, either. The kind of storm that turns sidewalks into rivers and tests your sump pumps will to live. By 2 in the afternoon, the sky turned the color of wet cement. I watched from my kitchen as the first drops fell, the wind picked up, and Barbara stood out there with a wireless mic saying how our clubhouse integrates seamlessly with the natural landscape. That's when the spillway woke up. The water rose fast, quicker than I'd seen in years. Within minutes, it overtopped the channel, ran across the lawn, and headed straight for the brand new patio. I saw folding chairs float, a catering table tip, and one poor waiter chasing champagne flutes like a lost soul. And Barbara. She just stood there, yelling into her phone, trying to figure out why her drainage system wasn't draining. By the time the storm passed, the clubhouse was an island. 2 feet of muddy water surrounded it. Damage everywhere, warped floors, soaked walls, and furniture stuck in trees. But instead of facing it, she doubled down. A week later, we all got letters, special assessments to repair infrastructure damages, $1,800 per household. No vote. No warning. I snapped. That's when I pulled out the documents. Brought everything to the next HOA meeting: photos, flood maps, city zoning reports. But the real twist. My neighbor Terry, quiet guy, always wore socks with sandals, turns out, he's a retired city inspector. He stood up, cleared his throat, and said, "Actually, I was on the team that wrote the original drainage code for this development." You should have seen Barbara's face. Terry laid it out plain. The clubhouse was built on a known flood zone. No permit should have been approved. And unless she could produce documentation proving otherwise, we were looking at legal liability for every homeowner in the area. The room went quiet. Barbara tried to shift blame. Claimed the engineers misled her. Said I'd tampered with the spillway, like I'm some kind of water wizard with a grudge. But by then, nobody was buying it. David, another board member, quietly handed in his resignation right there. And the crowd. They voted her out that night. Not suspended. Not warned. Out. 92% majority. Demolition began a month later. I watched from the same kitchen window where I'd watched it all begin. Bulldozers tearing through brand new walls. Wet insulation spilling out like stuffing from a bad idea. $4 million gone in 4 weeks. They planted native grass in its place. Put in a bench. No plaque, no ceremony. Just peace. The water runs clean again now, spillway doing what it was meant to do. No more luxury visions. No more champagne. Just the sound of rain flowing the right direction. Sometimes I wonder if Barbara ever understood what went wrong, not the storm, not the drain, but the arrogance of thinking nature bends to budgets. She moved out not long after. Left a for sale sign that sat for months, fading like her promises. Now you tell me. Was that karma? Common sense? Or a very expensive lesson finally learned? Drop a comment. Did I do the right thing by waiting for nature to prove my point? Or should I have pushed harder sooner? Either way, I'll say this: the creek never lies. It just waits.